Hello, boys and girls. I am inside of Google Classroom, and there is an assignment posted. So I'm going to click Classwork, and right here where it says second marking period, there's an assignment that says Scratch Something. If I click that and click View Assignment, then I see the assignment is called Scratch Something Programming with Scratch Basics. So let's take a quick look at our learning goal. And our learning goal is to demonstrate an understanding of how a computer takes input of data, processes and stores the data through a series of commands, and outputs information. Using a simple visual programming language, create a programming using loops, events, procedures to generate specific output. Use appropriate terms in conversation, algorithms, program, debug, loops, events, procedures, memory storage, and so on. Today our focus is going to be on identifying key features of a digital work environment and also modifying and organizing key components of a digital product to produce desired results and construct a digital product. So what I'll do is we'll go to Scratch, and before we get started, for those of you that may not have used Scratch before, let me quickly go over the Scratch interface. In the left area of the screen, we have these circles, colored circles, and these are your categories. So if you want your object to move, you would choose the motion category. If you want to change the way it looks, you would choose the looks category. Sound would be the sound category, events, and so on and so forth. And if you notice, as I click on these little circles to change the categories, I have different blocks over here. The way these blocks work is when we create our program, we move the blocks into our scripts panel over here, or scripts palette, and we just snap these on top of each other or below each other like that, and that's how we create our project. In the left area, we have our stage. This is the white background, and that is everything that we program will show up in the stage. We have the Scratch cat here. This cat is our sprite, and our sprite are the objects that we program, and you can have multiple sprites in your program, and they all show up down here in this area down here. Also, we have our backdrops, or our stage area, where you can change your backdrops. For example, if I wanted to get my sprite to move, I would grab this move 10 steps, and I can change that to maybe move 100 steps. And if I double click on it, you see that my sprite moved across the stage. Let me log out of Scratch and back into Google Classroom. We have a couple of things here. So here's a link to Scratch. What I'd like you to do is join my Scratch class. Now, if you already have a Scratch account and you want to use your Scratch account to join my class, you're perfectly welcome to do that. What you would do is you would click this link right here where it says Scratch Class Registration, and that brings you to Scratch, and you would of course have to log in. It has me already logged in, but it would bring you to Scratch, and you could join this class using your own Scratch account. If you don't have a Scratch account and you want to join my class, then you can go to Scratch. I've already created accounts for everyone in this class. So you would just go into Scratch and click Sign In. You would enter in your last name and the first 3 letters of your first name, along with your Google password, and that will prompt you and bring you to this screen right here. It has your class, and you click Get Started, and you enter your birthday and the year that you were born, and male or female, your country, and if you did not want to enter if you're male or female, you can just click down here, and I'll click Next Step, and if I click Go to Class, it shows me that I am in my class, and if I click Create, I can start creating. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a Scratch project, and we're going to do this project together. And this project, what we will do is we will create a variety of effects so that you can get an idea or understanding of how Scratch works. The first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to delete this cat sprite, and I'm going to get a rocket ship sprite. So I'll click this circle down here in the Scratch sprites area. If I click it, I'm going to search for a rocket ship. So if I just type in rocket, there's a rocket ship right there. I can click on that, and now I have a rocket ship sprite. I also want a sprite of the Earth, so this circle down here with the cat icon, if I click that, if I type in Earth in the search box, there's the Earth, so I'm going to add that. And I'm just going to take my Earth and drag it all the way up into the upper right corner of my stage. The next thing that I want to do is I want to change my backdrop. To change the backdrop, I click on over here where it says stage all the way down in the bottom. There's a circle with a rectangle with like mountains icon there. I click there, and I think I want kind of a starry backdrop. So I'm going to type in stars in the search area, and I'll click this stars backdrop. Now I have a star backdrop. What we want to do right now is we want to program our rocket ship. We're not really going to do much with the Earth. So I'm going to click on my rocket ship to make sure that is what I am programming. And I know that I'm programming my rocket ship because up here in the scripts area or scripts palette, I see a kind of a faded rocket ship there. I need to make a change to this rocket ship. And I'll actually show you why we're going to make this change. Because what I want this rocket ship to do is I want it to start off down here and move to the Earth. And if I do something like point towards, and if I change mouse pointer to Earth, and then I grab the glide 1 second to X, Y, and I'll explain what all this means in a second. But if I change that to X0, Y0, and what we're going to do is we'll do this when the green flag is clicked. So if I go to my events category, that's the yellow category, yellow circle right here. So I go there and grab the when green flag clicked and put that right there. Now if I click my green flag, watch what happens. So my rocket ship, I want it to point towards the Earth, but it kind of points sideways and it doesn't really look like it's pointing toward the Earth. What we want to do is we want to fix it so that it really points toward the Earth. So to do that, what I'm going to do is in this area, in the top left area, I see some tabs. One tab is code, one tab is costumes, one tab is sounds. I'm going to click on the costumes tab, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this select tool is checked. I'm going to drag my mouse all the way over that rocket ship so that it looks like that. And I have these handles around the rocket ship, and at the bottom there is a handle in the shape of an arrow, curved arrow pointing in opposite directions. When I move my mouse over it, it changes to a hand. And what I'll do is I can click on those arrows and just turn it so that it faces that way instead of facing straight up. We're going to go back to our code. So I'll click the code tab up here, and we'll start this off. We'll say go to X0, Y0, but we'll change that to X negative 150, Y negative 150. And we'll still have it glide 1 second to 0, 0. But now if I click my green flag, watch what happens. Okay, so if you noticed, it started off in the lower left corner, and now it is actually pointing toward the Earth. So that small change with the costume has a big effect on that. We could also move our rocket ship a different way. So just like in math, there might be many ways to program something or create or come up with a mathematical solution or scientific solution. There's numerous ways to program also. So I'm going to get rid of this glide 1 second to 0, 0. I'm just going to move this over into the screen over here. And instead what I want to do is I'm going to add a move 10 steps, but I'm going to change that move 10 steps to 4. If I click on this, my green flag, watch, we'll see what happens. It starts at the bottom, but it doesn't really move once much. So what we want to do is we want that to move 4 steps over and over and over again. So inside of the control category, that's the orange circle, I have this repeat block. And if I add that repeat block in between, or that move 4 steps in between the repeat 10, and if I repeat that 400, then it's actually going to move 4 steps 100 times, or 400 steps. And now, if I click on the green flag, it actually moves a little bit closer to the Earth. All right, so we're going to make a few changes here, and then we'll explain some things. So let's go to the looks category, and if you notice, the first thing I notice is my rocket ship is behind the Earth. That happens sometimes, it doesn't always happen. But to fix that, what we can do is inside of the looks category, we can say go to front layer, and I'll put that right underneath the green flag. Another thing is, maybe I want my astronauts inside of the rocket ship to say something when they get started. So this first block right here, say hello for 2 seconds, I'm going to put that right there, but I'm going to change hello to let's go. Now if I click on my green flag, he goes down. One thing in programming is you're always making mistakes, or things don't always work out the way that you want them to. So maybe he kind of said let's go too early. So maybe instead of having let's go before go to -150, y -150, maybe we'll put the let's go there. And this would be a good time to explain, well, what is this -150, y 150? So what I'll do is I'll go into my backdrops and I'll change this to my coordinate plane. And if we think about a coordinate plane, we've probably seen this in math class, but we have x and y coordinates. The x coordinates are on the x-axis, which is the orange line that is moving from left to right or side to side, and your y coordinates are on the y-axis, which is the y, which are the is the line that goes vertically or up and down. We know that x0, y0 is the center, and if we move to the left of the x-axis, the numbers get negative. So if we think about a number line, if we go to the left of a number line, the numbers start to increase negatively, and if we go to the right of the number line, the numbers increase. The same with the y-axis. If we go up, the numbers go higher. If we go down, the numbers get lower. So if I go to the left of the x-axis, I have negative numbers. So here's -200. And if I go down, my y numbers are negative. So this area where my mouse is moving around is negative, kind of where -150, x -150, y -150. And it moves closer. There's 0, 0. But we change that to move 400 steps. And I'll just click right here to come out of full screen. And we're going to do a few more adjustments here. And what I did was I changed move 4 steps to move 10 steps. So let's click on the green flag and see if we notice a difference. Okay, looks like it may be moving a little bit faster. Maybe if I change that, let's try 100 steps and let's see what happens. Oh, now it moved really fast. So the higher your number, not only is it going to go farther, but it's going to go faster. I'm going to put that back to 4. And one thing that we're going to add some more effects here. Let's go back to looks, and we're going to add a change color effect by 25, and we'll put that right underneath the move 4 steps. And we'll also add a change size, and we're going to change our size by -1. So now if I click on my green flag, it will look like this. So kind of a cool effect, and it's kind of getting smaller as it gets toward the Earth. If I click on my green flag again, now we have a problem. It's starting off very, very small, and it's not getting bigger. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that our rocket ship always starts off at its normal size. And to do that, we'll use this block right here where it says set size to 100. And we'll put that, let's put it right underneath the go to X minus 150, Y minus 150. And now if I click on my green flag, we have our rocket ship back to its normal size with a pretty cool effect. All right, so that's our rocket ship. We're going to add another effect to our project here. And one thing that I recommend that you do is give your projects a name. So I'm going to call this one Space Project. That way when I look at my stuff inside of Scratch, it will show up as Space Project. So let's add a costume or add a sprite. And this time we're going to add a monkey. So I'm going to type in monkey, and I'll click on the monkey, and I'm going to move my monkey to the center of the stage. You could make your monkeys, your sprites bigger or smaller. Down here in this area it says size, and you can change the size. This is another way that you can change the size without going into your blocks and changing the size. And maybe I want my size of my monkey to be 80%. That's still kind of big, so I think I'm going to make him 70. So there's our monkey. Let's give our monkey, since he's in space, let's give him a helmet. So let's go to costumes. So to add this helmet to our monkey, the first thing we want to do is in this area right here, we're going to grab this circle tool. So if I click on the circle tool, I see that I have a fill color of purple. I don't want a fill color, so I'm going to click on that little arrow there and this little orange slash in the lower left area. I'm going to click on that so I have no fill color. And now I do want to outline, so I'm going to click on the outline color, and I want it to be white. To get a white color, what we can do is we can change our saturation to 0. And if we change our saturation to 0, the color is going to be white. And we'll change the size of our helmet to 4. And with our mouse, in the upper left area of the monkey's head, if I click it and don't let go, I can just drag it over that monkey's head. And you can kind of see that white outline going around. If I let go, now my monkey has a little helmet. So let's go back over to code, and we're going to add some code to our monkey. We'll go to the events category, and inside of the events category, we'll use the when green flag clicked. And what we want to do is we're going to give our monkey an effect that he's going to do all the time. So we'll use the forever loop. A loop is a programming term, just like the repeat, where if you want something to happen more than once or over and over and over again repeatedly, that is called a loop in computer programming. So this time we're going to use the forever loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our monkey to turn, and we'll have him turn 1 degree. So now if I click on my green flag, we have our rocket, we have our monkey turning. So we have 2 pretty cool effects. And just like that rocket ship, if I click stop, the higher I make this turn, so if I make this turn 10 and click on my green flag, the monkey turns faster. If I make it 100, he turns really, really fast. I'm going to put that back to 1. This time we're going to add another sprite. So I'll click on the sprites, and this time I'm going to add a rock. So I'll type in a rock, not a rocket ship, but a rock. And we're going to have our rocks kind of floating in the air. So to do that, and once again, if you wanted to make these rocks bigger or smaller, you can do that. I'm going to leave these rocks, actually we'll make the rocks a little bit smaller because they're almost the size of the Earth. So I'm going to make my rock size 50. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say when green flag clicked. So if I go to events, when green flag clicked, and we want our rocks, we want them to start off point towards mouse pointer. That means wherever your mouse pointer is, when you start the program, your rock is going to point to it. And many times it's going to be at this green flag up here because you're going to have to click the green flag to start. And once again, we'll add a forever loop because our rocks are going to continually move. And we're going to say move 10 steps, but we'll change that move 10 steps to move 2 steps. And we'll go, what's our rocks going to do if they get to the edge? So if I start this program now, click the green flag, we notice that our rocks move off the screen and our rocks won't come back. So I'm going to click start, and I need to bring those rocks back. So I'm just going to grab this go to, and if you remember from our XY coordinates, if I make that go to X0, Y0 and double click on it, then our rock goes to the middle of the screen. I'll just drag that over here. Just dragging it over here will get rid of that block. And what we'll do is we'll grab, there is a block that says if on edge bounce. That means if it gets to the edge, it's not going to go off the screen. So now if I run this program, and if you notice, as it goes towards the edge of the screen, it can bounce. And once again, this moved 2 steps. If you change that to a higher number, then it moves a lot faster. I'm going to move that back to 2, and we'll just have that moving like that. And if you notice, if I click on my stop sign here, everything stops. Let's add one more effect. This time we're going to add a star. So if I click on choose a sprite, I type in star. I have this star right here, so if I click on it, I'm just going to grab that star and move it over into this area of the screen. We're going to add a couple of things to our star. Once again, we'll use in the events category when green flag clicked, and we'll go to control, and we'll add a forever loop. And inside of our forever loop, we're going to create what is called a nested loop, because you can put other controls inside of other controls. So I'm going to put repeats inside, 2 repeats inside of my forever loop. So 1 repeat on top of the other, and I'm going to change those repeats to 20. And now I'm going to go to the looks category, and inside of the first repeat, I'm going to add a change size by 10. I'm going to change that 10 to 2. And inside of the second repeat, I'm going to change size by -2. Now, I want you to think about this. What do you think would happen if I did not have this change size by -2? What do you think would happen? Well, let's take a look. If I click on the green flag, my star gets very, very large. And it's going to do that forever because we have it repeating forever. So I'm going to stop that. So that's why we have repeat change size by 2 and then change size by -2. That way it balances out and it always stays at the same size, or it doesn't get too large or too small. One thing that I didn't show you is if I right click on this repeat loop right here, I can duplicate that and I can just put that right back there, and I'll change this back to -2. And another thing that I want to do is I'm going to grab this set size to 100 and just double click on it so that my star goes back to its regular size. Now if I click my green flag, actually let's go into full screen. If I click the green flag, now if you notice, my star is getting bigger or smaller. One thing that we could do is I could right click on this star in the sprites area and click duplicate. I have this star right here. So now I have 2 stars on my screen, and you could add as many as you want. So this is our assignment this week, and we're doing this all together. What I'd like you to do, though, is think of some other things that you could add to this. Can you add maybe 1 or 2 more features? What can you do to change the colors of these stars? What else can you do to this project to add some more effects to it? If you have any questions, send me an email or comment in Google Classroom.